and welcome to NTA Nationwide, reaching you live from our Abuja studio. I'm Ian John. Thank you for joining us. President Muhammadu Buhari has formally engaged presiding officers of the National Assembly towards ensuring that the genuine demands of the EndSARS protesters are addressed expeditiously. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the meeting, however, expressed worry over the accompanying violence to the protests in parts of the country, saying time has come to give the government a chance to deliver on its promises. Details will come in the course of the bulletin. Speaker, House of Representatives Femi Gbajegbeamila says the House is collaborating with the Nigerian Bar Association (NBA) on a proposed law to address infractions by personnel of the Nigerian police. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports that the issue came up when the Speaker met with the NBA.
At the meeting, the Speaker says Section 215, subsection 5, almost gives absolute immunity to the police and is therefore of the view that that section needs to be expunged and be replaced with provisions that will enable judicial review of police actions. He adds that the police reform bill addresses key issues earlier raised by the public.
We really want us to work together, just begin to put blocks and a legal framework that will be enduring and that can be sustained for all time, to make sure that the police, the future, and I'm talking about the future, I'm talking about the immediate future, is a police that we can be proud of.
The national president of the NBA, Olumide Apata, alleged that some Nigerians are unnecessarily being detained at different police stations and urged the House to intervene.
In fairness to the government, quite a number of concessions have been made, and that is, for me, very encouraging. It shows that definitely this is a listening government. In
the meantime, the House of Representatives has raised a joint ad hoc committee to investigate alleged brutality and extrajudicial killings by the defunct SARS. The joint committee comprises House Committees on Justice, Police Affairs and Human Rights. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And still on security, the federal government has assured Nigerians that it will strive to contain the EndSARS protest, which is gradually being hijacked by hoodlums. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed gave this assurance when he appeared on NTA Weekend File. Anthony Forson reports.
There's no doubt whatsoever that the EndSARS protest has been hijacked completely. The original conveners of EndSARS might have meant well, but what we've witnessed in the last few days has clearly shown that they are no longer in control.
Confirming a protest that started with genuine intentions to press home some demands, which the federal government accepted, Lai Mohammed wondered why such genuine protests will take a dangerous dimension by physically attacking the convoy of the Osun State governor.
You can see what happened in Osogbo. Is that an EndSARS, protest? And anybody who's been watching this, saga, we see that they are even now saying, "Oh, we are coming at you."
He regretted that the original convener seemed to be losing grip of what ordinarily is an integral part of democracy.
And that is why the federal government, the last 11 days or so, has treated the protesters in a very civilized manner. They came with 5 demands originally. On the 12th of October, Mr. President himself personally intervened in the EndSARS protest when he said the disbanding of the SARS is only the first step in the comprehensive reform of the Nigerian police. The response of the federal government has more than met those demands. And I also want to put on record that the federal government, and here I want to congratulate the IGP. The police, they have behaved in an extremely responsible and responsive manner despite obvious provocation. With every demand of the group being met, another demand is coming up. The goalpost is shifting every minute. And that one begins to wonder, what really is the intention of the group?
To this end, Lai Mohammed assured that the federal government will do all within the ambit of the law to ensure that anarchy does not take center stage of this EndSARS protest. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And away from security issues now, 1st of January 2021 has been set for the inauguration of the Lagos-Ibadan Standard Gauge Rail Line. Minister of Transportation, Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, made this known at the monthly inspection tour. Oyinaya Kalu Oka reports.
Excitement in the air for the people of Lagos, Ogun and Oyo states with the rail line coming alive. The 156 kilometers Lagos-Ibadan Standard Gauge Rail Line is 80% completed. With the laying of tracks completed, the 10 major and minor stations along the corridor are at various stages of completion. At every stop for inspection, Minister of Transportation Chibuike Rotimi Amechi was impressed with the pace of work.
The only two stations we were not too happy with them will be Topalanto and Abeokuta. So out of 10 or so, you can see the huge improvement in the rest 8.
At the Ebute Meta Mega Station, which is expected to be one of the largest stations in West Africa, with a holding capacity of 6,000 passengers daily, the minister disclosed that President Buhari is expected to inaugurate the rail line by January 1st, 2021.
1st of January, President coming here.
This is achievable from what I have seen thus far. We have the smaller stations that are going to be completed at the end of this October.
The Lagos-Ibadan rail line, when completed, will be instrumental to further growth in commercial activities in towns along the corridor.
It's quite impressive from the last time we came here. There has been improved progress here.
By November, we'll be able to commence train so that people will enjoy the benefit of having the Ibadan-Lagos train.
And to, in fact, fast-track the congestion in the port.
The Lagos-Ibadan Standard Gauge Rail Line is connecting 3 states of the western parts of the country. Oyinaya Kaloka, NTA News.
Many thanks, Oyinaya. Let's now join Adeola, who is in Lagos, for more stories on Nationwide. Adeola, it's over to you.
Hello, Yeri. Thank you for joining us. A 48-year-old man has been arrested for allegedly defiling a 13-year-old girl in Surulere area of Lagos State. Commandant, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Lagos State Command, Ayeni Paul, again read the Riot Act to those perpetrating criminal acts, stating that the command will not rest on its oars to ensuring a crime-free Lagos. Imole Ayotokede reports. The victim is the suspect, Charles Ekwe's wife's niece. She has been living with the couple for more than 4 years, following the death of her father. It was alleged that the suspect started abusing her sexually few months before the COVID-19 lockdown, an act which the victim said had occurred on several occasions.
That most of the time when I'm going to night vigil, that should be crying, she want to follow me, that is because of daddy. Daddy doesn't allow her to sleep.
The suspect, however, vehemently denied the allegations, but was quick to ask for forgiveness.
Because I have been captured. I didn't do anything wrong. Because based on what she says, that she's going to blackmail me. That is where I stand.
The arrest was made on Monday, 12th of October 2020 by the gender-based unit of the Defense Corps.
The suspect has written a conventional statement during the investigation into the case. But the victim has been taken to the clinic for tests, and it has been confirmed fully that she has been devoured.
The NSCDC reminded the public that national security is everybody's business and enjoined the people to report any suspicious moves to security agencies in their areas for further actions. In Lagos, Imoliayo Tokide, NTA News.
Now, with the present pandemic and the ongoing Stay Safe campaign, women in Lagos have taken to the streets to work, exercise, dance, and be healthy. Uzezi Arure reports that the event was aimed at portraying the importance of a healthy lifestyle in the lives of women and how it can help them cope in the face of the pandemic.
With the COVID-19 pandemic came the critical need for people to keep fit and stay safe, as the situation stressed the necessity for an improved physical, mental, and healthy lifestyle.
Those that the temperature is very high, their blood pressure is high, we'll tell them stay at home.
These women in clusters of 25 came together to achieve a common goal of being fit. The pulsating walks, aerobics, and rhythmic dances being carried out by them is in line with the agenda to inspire hope and sensitize participants on the need to always keep fit to protect their hearts, reduce blood sugar, and burn calories.
There's so much that simple walking can do. It will keep you alive easily without so much medicine or prevention.
The muscles of the body require exercise. You have to exercise them. If you don't exercise them, you lose them.
We need to keep our hearts pumping. We need to keep our muscles moving because we're here for a while, especially now with the pandemic.
While advocating coming together as a formidable team to accelerate nation building through empowerment, the significance of women rising above economic setbacks and social challenges brought by the pandemic made it imperative for the awareness to focus attention on their health, as they are the pillars of their various homes, to be fit and stay safe. In Lagos, Uzezi Arure, NTA News.
Era, we're done here. It's back to you.
Many thanks, Adiola. Let's take a first break on Nationwide. Do stay with us.
The recent genuine concerns and agitations by Nigerians about the excessive use of force and, in some cases, extrajudicial killings and wrongful conduct by men of the Nigerian police force. The disbanding of SARS is only the first step in our commitment to extensive police reform in order to ensure that the primary duty of the police and other law enforcement agencies remains the protection of lives and livelihoods of our people. We will also ensure that all those responsible for misconduct or wrongful acts are brought to justice. We also deeply regret the loss of life of the young man in Oyo State during the recent demonstrations. I have directed that the circumstances of his death should be thoroughly investigated. Meanwhile, it is important to recognize that the vast majority of men and women of the police force are hardworking and diligent in performing their duties. The few bad eggs should not be allowed to tarnish the image and reputation of the force.
NTA News 24, a 24-hour news station, brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news updated 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
Thank you for staying. It is cheaper to prevent corruption than curbing it using modern audit law as a tool. This was the thinking at a one-day sensitization workshop on utilization of data on civil awareness accountability of public servants in Nigeria by Paradigm Leadership Support Initiative in Abuja. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
In Nasarawa State, like many other states, there were reports of alleged fraudulent activities in the implementation of National Social Investment Program, which include Empower, conditional cash transfer, trade money, among other interventions of federal government to assist the poor in the state. The state governor stepped in by setting up a committee to investigate the allegations. Former Secretary to the State Government, Timothy Anjidi, headed the committee. The committee completed its assignment and submits the report to the State Governor.
The main report are structured to address the 9-point terms of reference through a review of issues, findings, observations, and recommendations.
Governor Abdullahi Sule says anyone found wanting in the report will be prosecuted. He reiterates the commitment of government to ensure that beneficiaries of all National Social Investment Program in the state benefit from the interventions.
This is about probity, transparency, accountability, financial planning of where we are, and ensure that we are fair.
In another development, the state governor played host to a delegation of German-based company who indicated interest to invest in agriculture. Areas of interest are cassava chips and snake feeds production, with expectation to create 5,000 jobs. In Lafia, Aliu Tijan Mohamed, NTA News.
We do sincerely apologize. The report by Adebola Brooksland Sunday would come much later. Investigation of fraud on the implementation of National Social Investment Program by officials with responsibility to reach beneficiaries is underway in Nasarawa State. From Lafia, Aliu Tijani Mohammed reports.
In Nasarawa State, like many other states, there were reports of alleged fraudulent activities in the implementation of National Social Investment Program, which include Empower, conditional cash transfer, trade money, among other interventions of federal government to assist the poor in the state. The state governor stepped in by setting up a committee to investigate the allegations. Former Secretary to the State Government, Timothy Anjidi, headed the committee. The committee completed its assignment and submits the report to the State Governor.
The main report are structured to address the 9-point terms of reference through a review of issues, findings, observations, and recommendations.
Governor Abdullahi Sule says anyone found wanting in the report will be prosecuted. He reiterates the commitment of government to ensure that beneficiaries of all National Social Investment Program in the state benefit from the interventions.
This is about probity, transparency, accountability, financial planning of where we are, and ensure that we are fair.
In another development, the state governor played host to a delegation of German-based company who indicated interest to invest in agriculture. Areas of interest are cassava chips and snake feeds production, with expectation to create 5,000 jobs. In Lafia, Aliu Tijan Mohamed, NTA News.
Nigerian youths have been urged to keep faith with the ability and sincerity of the Buhari administration to reposition Nigeria on the path of sustainable growth and development that is youth-driven. Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Senator George Akume, stated this while granting audience to 2 youth delegations in Abuja. Mitari Ikme reports.
Separate meetings with delegations from the Northern Youth Council of Nigeria and the Ahmadu Bello University Postgraduate Representative Council by the Minister of Special Duties are part of continued interface to promote patriotism among the youth. The minister was emphatic that the Buhari administration has spared no effort towards youth empowerment across all sectors, citing the Not Too Young to Run Act, the social investment programs, and the Nigeria Economic Sustainability Plan as youth-specific policies.
You have a huge stake in this country, and if you look at the programs of Mr. President, they are also geared towards bringing in the youth. I think this is a huge reservoir for you to tap in. Presidential initiative on agriculture and so on. All these are intended to challenge you to stand up and be part of these developmental strides.
The groups commended the open door policy of the Buhari administration and urged more youths to take advantage of government's policies and programs. In Abuja, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Ilusha community in East and Southeast is famous as the food basket of Edo State. Nestled on the bank of River Niger, this food basket is underwater. An NTA Fine First reports on the implications of this flood and the promise of respite.
With 14 villages and 9 quarters, Ilushi in East and Southeast Edo State lies low on the bank of the River Niger. Flood from the River Niger has submerged Ilushi.
So if they can help us to do the piling, you will see that all this year by year flood every year will stop.
Ilushi is a farming community popular for rice, cassava and yam production. 20,000 hectares of rice farm currently underwater in the community.
No one rice, no single rice, no food at all. Because everything flood don't carry everything. So everything now just nothing we get for this year again.
My people, they are all in pains. All their rice, whatever thing they put in for this year has been submerged by this surge of River Niger.
Elders of the community say what was supposed to be an embankment project, poorly done, has worsened the fortunes of Ilushi.
They said that we are doing encroachment, that the landslide will not fall back into the river anymore. They made that place lower than the other banks.
Government officials, however, say all hope is not lost for the community.
We have built shelters, and then by next week we'll be moving them in batches. And because we are trying to keep the COVID-19 protocol, that's why we're taking precautionary measures.
At the moment, rice farmers are running against the tide, trying to salvage whatever harvest they can gather from the flood.
The many one where dig now the farmers must know the pack now. I don't see something when I go chop. I don't see food when I go chop now.
For now, it's a long wait for life after the flood. In Ilushi, Edo State, Onengie Fine Face, NTA News.
Let's now join Caleb in Jos for more stories on palliatives and post-COVID-19 grant. Hello, Caleb.
Anyway, hello. Welcome to Jos. Plateau State Government has received a donation of 73 trucks of assorted grains from the federal government to ameliorate the hardship of citizens through its intervention programs, which have direct impact on the poor and vulnerable in society. Governor Simon Lalong disclosed this when he received the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Sadia Umar Farouk, and her counterpart in Women Affairs Ministry, Dame Pauline Tallen, in Government House, Little Redfield, Jos. Priscilla Grumnan reports.
The grains donated are 34 truckload of maize, 35 trucks of sorghum, and 4 trailer load of millet to be distributed among 3,000 vulnerable households. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, Sadia Umar Farouk, and her Women Affairs counterpart, Dame Pauline Tallen, expressed federal government's determination to continue to provide intervention programs that will bring relief to millions of its citizens.
The government has been paying more attention to protecting and promoting the plight of the poor and vulnerable in this country. This informed the decision to initiate the National Social Investment Program.
We pray that these palliatives that will be given today, we should immediately ensure that women get this thing, because once this food gets to the women, the family are in.
Governor Simon Lalong expressed gratitude to the federal government for the timely intervention and to the 2 ministers for having the interest of the people of the state at heart.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to extend our gratitude to the federal government. To thank you very much for your assistance.
Similarly, the governor received in audience the United Nations resident and humanitarian coordinator in Nigeria, Edward Callon, who is on assessment visit to Plateau State to see how to situate the state in the development scheme of the United Nations humanitarian program. In Jos, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
And still on palliatives, to augment government's efforts towards cushioning effect of the coronavirus pandemic on citizens, the Nigerian Councillors Forum Plateau State Chapter has donated palliatives to the state government. The items were presented to Governor Simon Lalong at the Government House, Little Rayfield, Jos. Priscilla Grumnan again has details.
Presenting the items, which include carton of face masks, hand sanitizers, water containers, and liquid soap, on behalf of the 325 councillors in the state, Chairman of the Forum, Silas Ishaya, commended the state government's effort at combating the disease, saying it is their way of contributing to humanity.
We are going to support you to ensure that the next level we yearn for it becomes a perfect reality.
Your Excellency, I can tell you that it's not what they were able to bring here today, but the intention, that is what matters.
Governor Lalong thanked the councillors for the gesture and their cooperation to ensure the progress of the state and urged them to be committed to their duties, saying they were closest to the grassroots and therefore understand the people's plight most.
So it is not about how much you get, but your constant interaction with your people. Because something about government, if you are always there, they will know. Because you are the one to tell them.
He also called on them to work towards developing community policing in their respective areas, reminding them of the need to be more people-oriented in their goals. From the Government House in Little Rayfield, Priscilla Grumnan, NTA News.
That's it from Jos. Ian Ray is back to you.
Thank you, Caleb. And back to our earlier report where President Muhammadu Buhari engaged presiding officers of the National Assembly towards ensuring that the genuine demands of the NSAS protesters are addressed expeditiously is ready. And Adamu Sambo will bring us details.
The NSAS protest, which entered day 11 in parts of the country, is without doubt a trying moment for Nigeria and indeed its leadership. This is more so because violence has now been introduced to the somewhat peaceful agitation by the youth, indicating that the protesters might have lost control of the initiative. Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Speaker Femi Bajabiamila are here to critically analyze the situation with President Muhammadu Buhari and see what can be done urgently towards restoring order. After the meeting, which lasted about 1 hour 40 minutes, both the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, and Speaker Femi Bajabiamila reassured Nigerians, especially the youth, that President Muhammadu Buhari has their interests at heart and is indeed committed to the sustainable future of the country.
The essence of coming to meet Mr. President is to review the situation and see the roles that the two arms of government should play in ensuring that the demands of the protesters, the 5-point demands, are properly addressed where legislative intervention will be required. We are ready to move in and deal with such expeditiously to ensure that we don't waste any time so that we address the concerns of our youth. Where the executive role is expected, we are sure that the executive will also expedite action, and we will be watching to ensure that such demands are properly met.
And I can assure you that there is no bigger Democrat than Mr. President. He gave us a listening ear that the same as he's always given Nigerians for the first time in history. Don't forget his background. He accepted absolutely everything that Nigerians asked for. It's the first time in history that, because I've heard this story that, we've had EndSARS, 4 times before in our past, and that's what people are saying. And like I say, this is the first time you haven't heard it from Mr. President. You've never heard it from Mr. President, but now he said so. So let us tarry a little while, give it a couple of weeks, and see what happens.
The presiding officers of the National Assembly therefore pleaded with the Nigerian youth to end the protest now in the greater interest of all.
The protests have already yielded the desired results. First of all, they say end SARS. That was the beginning. SARS was ended not by the IGP. SARS was ended by the president himself. The president, President Muhammad Buhari, made a statement, a presidential statement, and that will be the first time that any president will say end SARS. And SARS has ended. When you try to stop everybody from engaging in their lawful businesses, closing roads to markets and other economic places, we distract the economy of the country, and that is not the best way to go. Other Nigerians have legitimate rights to go on their lawful businesses without let or hindrance, and we cannot have that when the roads are blocked. So we don't want a situation where there will be a degeneration of law and order because somebody is blocked and he feels he must have his way. So we believe that withdrawing from this process at this moment is the right thing to do. Meanwhile, give us the opportunity to deal with matters that we have, as a government, agreed to handle.
I don't want our youth to lose the plot. They've done so well in terms of expressing their grievances. And the important thing is that government has heard you loud and clear. It's unfortunate what happened to the Osun State governor. And this is where, I say we begin to lose the plot. We should not allow people to infiltrate what otherwise is a good cause. For whatever it's worth, trust government in what it has done now. It has ended SARS. Nobody can argue that. SARS is ended. It's apparently a police code anywhere in the world that you don't leave a vacuum. It has to be filled. And that's why they came up with SWOT. It's a complete departure from the way SARS was meant to operate. Let us remain focused. Let us stay on track. And the way to stay on track is to work with government.
Senate President Ahmed Lawan and Speaker Femi Bajabiamila assured Nigerians that everyone is on the same page in this onerous task of achieving the desired policing with pride, trust, and integrity. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Osun State government is to set up a judicial panel of inquiry in line with Vice President Oshibajo's directive to investigate all related cases of abuse and brutality by the disbanded SARS and investigate the death of 2 protesters in Osogbo on Saturday. Governor Oyetola said this in his statewide broadcast this Sunday, where he appealed for calm. Femi Afariogun reports.
Wide broadcast, Governor Oyetola maintained that the 2 deaths recorded were not during the attack on him. One death, he said, occurred prior to his arrival to address the protesters, while the second death occurred about 5 kilometers from the scene of the protest after he had been evacuated to the government house.
The investigation revealed that the commando style which the assailants carry out the attack leaves no one in doubt that it was deliberate and pre-planned. However, not the genuine protesters resorted to violence. And the preliminary investigation further revealed that no live bullet was fired at the rampaging political thugs. Not even one canister of tear gas was fired.
He assured the people that his government will continue to protect their lives and property.
We shall be setting up a judicial panel of inquiry in line with the directive of the Vice President Yemi Osinbajo to investigate all related cases of abuse and brutality by the disbanded SARS. This panel will also be investigating yesterday's attack. What happened on Saturday is objectionable, unacceptable, and a blight to the Omoluabi ethos that the state of Osun stands for.
The suspected hoodlums also attacked shops at Osun Mall, carting away goods worth millions of naira. In Osogbo, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
Similarly, the governor of Plateau State, Simon Bako Lalong, has constituted judicial panel on police brutality and other related extrajudicial killings in Plateau State, to be headed by a retired judge of the Plateau State High Court, Justice Philomena Lott, and 6 others. The panel of inquiries to investigate complaints of police brutality and related extrajudicial killings in Plateau State, with a view to delivering justice for all victims of the dissolved Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, and other police units. This is in line with the recommendation of the National Economic Council for the establishment of state-based judicial panels of inquiry by governors to hear complaints and ensure accountability in the operations of police units in their states. The committee is expected to carry out its assignment within 6 months and submit its report. Meanwhile, the governor has denied allegations that northern governors want the return of the scrapped Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS. He explained that there was no way the northern governors would call for the resurrection of an already scrapped SARS as approved by the president and announced by Inspector General of Police. Meanwhile, the Coalition for Democracy has urged EndSARS protesters in Nigeria to focus on the theme of their campaign of reforming the Nigeria police in order not to allow subversive elements hijack the protest. President of the coalition, Comrade Samson Atawudi, who spoke with newsmen in Abuja, said since President Muhammadu Buhari has signed into law the Nigeria Police Bill 2020, this is the right time for citizens to push for the implementation of the reforms which formed the original theme of the EndSARS protest. He said the new act will enhance professionalism in the force through increased training opportunities as well as create an enduring cooperation and partnership between the police force and communities in maintaining peace and combating crimes nationwide. Similarly, the Center for Ethical Rebirth among Nigerian youths, Sirani, has endorsed the legitimacy of peaceful protests, commended President Buhari for showing exemplary leadership by assuring the nation that the disbandment of SARS, which was the first step towards a comprehensive police reform. The group urged youths to discontinue protests in the interest of the nation. And still on the EndSARS protest, a national president of the National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, NUPENG, Comrade Williams Eneredona Akporeha, says though NUPENG stands with the Nigerian youths against police brutality and call for immediate and far-reaching police reforms, as its members are as well victims of police brutality and abuses. No organ of NUPENG has ordered shutting down of fuel stations or oil installations. A statement jointly signed by NUPENG states that the fake news trending on the social media that the union will partake in a nationwide strike is not true and urges the public to disregard the news meant to overhit the polity. The statement says the union empathizes with all victims of police brutality, including its members across the country, adding that NUPENG peacefully joins all well-meaning Nigerians to say police brutality must stop. Also, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation has refuted reports in a section of the media alleging that it paid bribe to the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, and provided funds for the All Progressives Congress, APC, to buy votes in the just concluded Ondo State gubernatorial election. A press release by the Group General Manager, Group Public Affairs Division, Dr. Kenny Obatero, described the reports as mischievous and contrived allegations without any substance in truth, only designed to serve the selfish ends of their sponsors to bring NNPC to disrepute and tarnish the corporation's image. On the alleged bribe or COVID-19 palliative to NANS published by Sahara reporters, NNPC confirmed that it received a letter dated April 22, 2020 from NANS, signed by one Comrade Danielson Akpan, requesting for financial support to enable the association provide palliatives to students who were stranded at various schools during the lockdown. A request the corporation could not honor due to the peculiar circumstances and financial constraints thrown up by the global oil market meltdown. On the allegation of providing funds to support a political party, the All Progressives Congress, APC, in buying votes during the Ondo State gubernatorial election published by Nigerian, the corporation explained that the NNPC is owned by the Federation and indeed all Nigerians. Hence, it is non-partisan and does not engage in sponsorship of political parties or causes. NNPC called on Sahara reporters and Nigerian to retract the reports, failing which it would be forced to seek legal redress as appropriate. The statement urged members of the public to discountenance the reports, stressing that they were a crass display of unprofessionalism with predetermined conclusions aimed at serving the selfish purposes of their sponsors. All right, let's now go to Ibadan, where Kemi is standing by. Kemi.
Thank you, Iyeri, and welcome to Ibadan. The Nigeria Customs Service Oyo Osun Area Command has seized 2 trucks containing 1,400 bags of fertilizer and other items after failure of the owners to produce the required documents within 90 days. Correspondent Shola Wahid has the report.
Meat include 1,400 bags of NPK fertilizers, 265 kegs of 25 litre each of petrol, 2,270 bags of 50 kg foreign parboiled rice, vegetable oil, bales of second-hand clothing, used tires, which vehicles used for conveying the items, among others.
The need to rebuild our economy through the collection of revenue accrued to the government is paramount. In the heart of the Comptroller General of Customs, Colonel Hamed Ibrahim Ali, retired. Thus, the CGC has implemented policies to ensure that all forms of smuggling across borders are suppressed. Legitimate trade is facilitated and maximum revenue collected and accounted for.
She stressed that at a critical stage of COVID-19 era, there is need to rebuild the economy through more revenue generation, which the command has lived up to expectation. Controller acknowledged the resilient and vigilant officers of the command and other sister agencies for their collaborative efforts. In Ibadan, Shola Wahid, NTA News.
Youths from various states have been exposed to 2 weeks training in capacity building for tractor operators and mechanics, as well as integrated entrepreneurship training for women and youths in agriculture. Kehinde Omolosho reports that the training organized by the National Center for Agricultural Mechanization is to enhance professional service delivery.
The youths were trained as tractor technicians and operators. Safety procedures in theory and practical were also taught to the technicians.
It is to engage youth in the enterprising activities and also to empower them. And this, we have to appreciate the federal government for giving us the fund to do this.
Ifeoluwa Olugbebi, a graduate of agricultural engineering, believes the skills he has acquired in the training will help put an end to the dearth in tractor operators in the country.
We were taking through practical skills on plowing, on harrowing, and even driving a trailer when you have your harvested products and you're taking it from your farm to the market or to your storehouse, so that we'll be able to manipulate that well.
The integrated entrepreneurship training for women and youth in agriculture is an advocacy for zero wastage in farming.
We can have a triangular platform whereby we can have poultry, we can have fishery, and we can have crop rotation. And whatever we have as a waste in one, we can use it as a byproduct for the other one.
I can as well just raise maggots in my backyard anyhow and use it to feed my fish to supplement.
The National Center for Agricultural Mechanization, NCAM, has trained several thousands of youths in agricultural practices and agricultural mechanization. From the National Center for Agricultural Mechanization, Kehinde Omolosho, NTA News.
Core members for 2019 Batch C Stream 1 have completed their compulsory national service amidst coronavirus pandemic, with the charge from stakeholders in youth matters not to forget the lessons COVID-19 taught them. Larry Belay's report is here presented.
It's been a unique experience to the 2019 Batch C Stream 1 core members, 7, just as the pandemic broke out throughout the world. Now it is the completion of their service year.
This is one of, the batches that has been, the most peaceful, that has been the most, coordinated, and, of course, the most, resourceful.
Nobody knew COVID will come, but suddenly COVID came to the world, and these core members rose up to that challenge.
For obvious reasons, the usual fanfare that indicates the end of the service year is suspended, but the core members were nevertheless grateful for the experience.
The little months we spent at our PPA, we were able to garner a lot of experiences and knowledge, and we were able to network with a lot of people. In our PPA, they have actually opened us to enough level of experience to work when we get out there.
Armed with their letters of discharge and certificates, core members are hopeful that the new course they are about to chart in their lives will be favorable.
Eri, it's back to you for more nationwide.
Thank you, Kemi. The Rural Electrification Agency is collaborating with the National Assembly to diversify means of funding and direct investments to improve rural electrification. Kenneth Nanim reports that the agency and the House Committee on Power are brainstorming to chart a new roadmap towards bridging the energy supply gap across the nation.
In Abuja,
Adequate energy supply in Nigeria, especially in the rural communities, has been a major challenge for successive administrations in Nigeria. This led to the establishment of Rural Electrification Agency in 2006. Now, this collaborative effort is seeking improvement in the agency's operations and more effective service delivery to Nigerians. The agency says about $2.5 billion are needed to provide constant power supply to about 80 million Nigerians who have no access to electricity supply. This, they say, will also improve commerce and other socio-economic activities in the rural communities, and the lawmakers concur to this.
The members of the National Assembly are under enormous pressure from committees on this issue of light. We'll be putting money to ensure that all these pending projects that are spread over the state and the community are completed.
The face-to-face interaction here, therefore, is expected to provide a leeway for intervention.
The recently announced intervention of the President to deploy 5 million solar-based connection across Nigeria through the Economic Sustainability Plan is one of such valuable initiatives.
To also consolidate on the efforts by the agency on rural electrification and power supply to institutions like schools, markets, and residential areas, the workshop harped on the need for more direct investments using the public-private partnership approach.
If we continue to rely on government funding, we are never going to be able to reach the 80 million Nigerians that do not have power. We promote a sustainable market that allows private sector to come in, make their investments, be able to relate directly with communities.
While the lawmakers pledged commitment to ensuring adequate budgetary allocation to the sector, they urged the agency to explore alternative technologies in the renewable energy system to achieve the desired goal. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
In other news, to harness the vast potential of the broadcast media industry, government and other stakeholders must ensure full implementation of the white paper on digital switchover in the country. A former member of the Presidential Advisory Committee on Transition from Analog to Digital Terrestrial Broadcasting in Nigeria and former Director General, National Broadcasting Commission, Yomi Bolarinwa, made the call in Abuja at the annual general meeting of members of NTA Abuja Pioneers Forum. Mohammed Adibowale has details.
They all have something in common, a shared history as television veterans who cut their professional teeth at NTA Abuja as its pioneer staff. That their many years out of active service has not diminished their love for broadcasting is evident in the content and context of their interactions as they converge on their alma mater for the 2020 annual general meeting.
The lot of deceit we have within broadcast industry in Nigeria. There is no station that is out there without a high definition camera. Yet all their transmission is standard definition.
Former Director General of National Broadcasting Commission, Engineer Yomi Bolarinwa, is one of the veterans. His paper, Update on Nigeria's Digital Broadcast Process, among others, focused on how modern-day media practitioners can raise the bar in generating and disseminating quality contents that align with global best practices.
This is the station that took the best part of us out of us and made us confident to face the world.
For legendary cinematographer Tunde Kilani, it is important for Nigeria's broadcasters to take advantage of the new media to be abreast of emerging innovations from their foreign counterparts. To further demonstrate their commitment to NTA Abuja, members of the forum, led by its president Olalekan Ajia, presented new tires for smooth running of the station's operational vehicle.
Sokoto is our last port of call on Nationwide today, and Asmao has stories making rounds in that zone. Asmao, take it away.
Many thanks, Ian Ray. Good evening and welcome to Sokoto. Sultan of Sokoto Muhammad Saad Abubakar said abiding by safety rules and regulations along the Nigerian highways will go a long way in reducing road crashes. The Sultan stated this when he received the Zonal Commanding Officer, Federal Road Safety Corps on 10 Sokoto, who paid him a courtesy visit at his palace. Sheikh Muhammad Dati completes the report.
While welcoming the Zonal Commanding Officer, Sultan Muhammad Saad assured
of full support and cooperation to the new leadership of the Zonal Command. He informed the Zonal Commanding Officer that his doors will always be open for people whenever the need arises. He charged him to be fair and just in the discharge of his responsibilities at all times. Sultan Muhammad Saad prayed for Allah's guidance and successful stay in office. The Zonal Commanding Officer Zone 10, Sumaila Muhammad Kugu, said he was at the palace to formally introduce himself and seek support, cooperation, and advice from the royal father. He described Sokoto as his home, urging motorists to drive with caution to save lives. He informed the Sultan that during his stay in Sokoto, 19 road crashes were recorded with many lives lost. Muhammad Kugu solicited for the Sultan's wisdom to inform Islamic clerics to preach and enlighten the Muslim Ummah on the importance of precautionary measures on highways. The zonal commanding officer was in company of his lieutenants. In Sokoto, Shehu Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
A humanitarian intervention to aid post-COVID-19 anxieties has been inaugurated by the wife of Sokoto State Governor under her initiative, the Mariam Meru Aminu Waziri Tambol. Again, Shehu Muhammad Datti reports.
Rashida Habibu of Abdurrashida Adisaraji Special School Sokoto was among the 1,000 pupils and students that benefited from the Back to School program initiative. Each beneficiary took home a school bag and learning materials. The initiative also empowered other vulnerable groups with tailoring machines, grinding machines, and assorted food items, among others.
We're targeting at 2,000 vulnerable and needy people. They are drawn from all the senatorial zone, and we still have stock that will continue the program by visiting the 23 local governments across the state.
A variety of seedlings of economic importance were also provided by the initiative in collaboration with the Zakat and Endowment Commission as part of efforts to make Sokoto greater, as well as serve as a source of income for the less privileged in the society.
Partnering with them through three work up, inshallah, which we believe will bring more benefit and environmental mitigation in Sokoto State.
The initiative will collaborate with national and international organizations to cover the 23 local government areas with a view to supporting the state governments improve living standard at the grassroots. In Sokoto, Sheikh Muhammad Datti, NTA News.
And that is our package from Sokoto. The news will continue after these messages. Please stay with us.
Demands of #EndSARS movement. Immediate release of all arrested protesters. Justice for all deceased victims of police brutality and appropriate compensation for their families. Setting up an independent body to oversee the investigation and prosecution of all reports of police misconduct within 10 days. In line with the new Police Act, psychological evaluation and retraining to be confirmed by an independent body of all disbanded SARS officers before they can be redeployed. Increase police salary so that they are adequately compensated for protecting the lives and property of citizens. Federal government's response. On 11th October 2020, the Inspector General of Police dissolved the Special Anti-Robbery Squad, SARS, across the 36 states police commands and the Federal Capital Territory. On October 12th, President Muhammadu Buhari addressed the nation, stating, "The disbanding of SARS is only the first step in our commitment to extensive police reforms." On 13th October 2020, the Inspector General of Police ordered all defunct SARS personnel to report at Force Headquarters, Abuja, for debriefing as well as psychological and medical examination. On 13th October 2020, the Presidential Panel on the Reform of SARS accepted the 5-point demand of the #EndSARS protesters. On 15th October 2020, the National Economic Council, NEC, directed the immediate establishment of state-based judicial panels of inquiry across the country to receive and investigate complaints of police brutality, related extrajudicial killings with a view to delivering justice for all victims of the dissolved SARS and other police units. State governors should immediately establish state-based special security and human rights committees to be chaired by governors in their state, and to supervise the newly formed police tactical units and all other security agencies located in the state. This will ensure the protection of citizens' human rights. Members will also include representatives of youth and civil society, as well as head of police tactical units in each of the states.
And that's how far we can go on Nationwide today. Many thanks for being a part of it. Please continue to stand against rape and rapists. I'm Yenwei John.